G'day golfers. Ever found yourself redirecting blame and making excuses after having an absolute shocker on a golf course? I know that I have. Range was closed, I was a little cold, didn't warm up, I hit it in those 3 old divots. Then we have the podcast for you. We focus on how to fundamentally own your swing. Strike it pure and consistently shoot in the 70s. Be it if you're a weekend hack, retired and playing daily, a school phenom, or a tour professional. We present and discuss facts and physics pertaining to golf, trying to keep our ego and opinion at bay. We dispel myths such as keep your head down, bend your knees, or my all-time favourite, game improvement irons. So stop drinking that mythical Kool-Aid and have a sip of ours. I think you'll find it both inspiring and refreshing. I'm Scott Young, founder of Swing, PGA professional and ex-tour player. And together with physical therapist Dr. Sean Joyce, welcome to Pivot the Path. G'day golfers. SJ, welcome back. We missed you. I'm sure the people out there were like, dude, you're boring.
No, I could listen
Welcome
to you
back.
all day. Thank you. Happy to be back.
How was your holiday?
It was awesome. We had a real fun first week out for a friend's wedding in Spain, Barcelona.
Barcelona, first time in Barcelona?
No, I've been there before.
Yeah.
So it was nice. We've done some of the touristy stuff, so we just hung out with our friends. And then a week in Mallorca, just really relaxing. So
Oh, that's awesome. So what did you, similar occurrences or different experiences?
The two different places, completely different. Mallorca is very the nature is beautiful. You go there to kind of hike around, see beautiful beaches. There's some mountains as well.
Now, beautiful beaches, not sand beaches like Australia.
So the southern half of the island has flat, sandy, soft beaches.
Oh, okay.
And then the northern half of the island is all this big mountain range that goes across, which is really stunning. And then it drops into the ocean. So those beaches I think are cooler, but it's like pebbly rock beaches. And they might get up to 1,000 meters above sea level or so.
So you're hiking. And...
yeah. So some great hikes, and then I snuck out. I found a cool little golf course.
Yes, do we just smash that out right now? So,
yeah.
So there's a bit of seriousness to this. So you're having a week just with Marie.
Yep.
And then you're like, I'm going to go play 9 holes or 18 holes.
I snuck 18.
So the experience we have, and I'd say a good 50% of our global listeners get high clubs at some point. They're on a holiday, wedding. So we've got some options you can do for that. So talk me up. You're waking up and you're like, I'm going to go play golf.
Yeah, so I had kind of prefaced this weeks leading up.
The boss, Marie, you're awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me get out there. And we had finally got there, and this was our week where we were just going to really relax and chill. And thankfully, Marie found a good book. So just have a relaxed morning, have breakfast at the bed.
Do you have to sell that, or is it?
Not really.
That's in the prenup when you guys got married.
Yeah. I made sure to get that in the fine print. No, but she was great about it. So she had a chill morning, sat by the pool, read a book. I went out, grabbed the first tee time. And
but how do you do that? Do you ring the golf
course?
So
I tried calling them, and between the spotty cell phone service and a little bit of language barrier, we weren't really getting anything done. So we happened to be kind of driving by it. It was close to where we stayed. So I just popped in there the day before and said, hey, I want to play. Do you have clubs? Can you get me out?
Now, collared shirt, shorts, there's
They didn't
dress
say
code?
anything about it. I had just, tennis shoes on. I threw on a collared shirt, and that was it.
Yeah, call it a day. Not many frills, but Pro Shop, gloves, balls.
Pro Shop was all right. They had gloves, they had balls.
Okay.
Is kind of funny. I just grabbed the rentals, and they said, hey, we threw a bunch of balls in there for you. I said, all right, fine.
How nice of you.
And there was one Pro V1 in there. The rest were rocks,
Okay.
So my goal is
did you finish with the Pro V?
Let's get through with just that Pro V1. Made it to hole 14.
Okay.
And then I found some water, and that was the end of it.
I'm fascinated by this. How much for a round of golf in Mallorca?
So it was €85.
So
and
that's not cheap.
For golf there, it's surprisingly more than I thought it would be. This was the start of low season. So it starts getting really hot now, so golf drops off, but then the tourism skyrockets and everyone wants to go to the beach. So it was actually a little cheaper. There were other courses that were significantly more expensive.
Oh, there's more than one?
Yeah, there's a handful of them.
Okay.
But this one was in the mountains. It was kind of funky. I thought this will be cool. So let's go out and play.
And then when the guy gave you the high clubs, what was your first thought?
Yeah, the first thing I saw was this big chunky blade. I kind of thought of you, or not blade, but a big chunky offset irons, some old pings. and then pretty whippy shafts. And
so may I interject? So SJ and I are SMSing in real time at this, and he's like, "Oh, dude, these are offset and whippy." And I said to Rosie, no joke, I said, I love that you get it. Like you get it. Like the higher club situation, whenever you go get higher clubs, just ask the pro shop for the stiffest clubs you can.
Yeah.
Because unless you know what you're doing, it'll ruin your experience. If you paid $100 or $200
Yeah.
and you get some whippy thing that's going to be face open. So what was your gut feeling? So as soon as you picked it up?
Oh, I just felt right.
Okay.
This is going
But
right
this is
all
really
day.
cool. So you aimed?
So I aimed way left, and
Way left.
I'm grateful for having known you, and you've taught me about this. But I would have struggled trying to force a draw or something with these clubs.
Faces open to path, baby.
I couldn't draw that driver. I think if I tried,
No.
it's not possible.
No.
So I kind of aim left edge of fairway or even trees, and just swing hard. Feel like I'm swinging for a draw. And it would just start, kind of straight, fade to the right, and I had a lot of fairways.
As Sean turns left his hips, the face, because it's so whippy, open. So the only way you could hit a draw with that driver, if here's my feet, let's use the coffee mug. If here's my feet, you would have had to put the ball so far outside your left foot. So as the club whips open, faces open to path, ball's going right. But then at some point it closes, which is post-impact. So if there's low point left shoulder, you would have had to club head outside left shoulder and you would have hit a slinging hook, but you wouldn't have been able to control it.
Yeah, it would have been all over. So I just played this
That's
big high
awesome.
draw.
I'm so pumped.
And it was awesome.
And goats are there.
Yeah, so there's front nine. And when I got there, I could just hear goats screaming, in the woods. And by the time I got out there and played a few holes, there was a hole with about 25 goats just ripping around.
Hanging out.
They're used to seeing people, so they were just eating
And
grass.
did you play on your own?
Yeah, it's just me, which was great. So the back nine, the greens were interesting. Really spongy. So
I wonder if it was paspalum. Did it look like single leaf, or was it like a bent single blade? Did it look like flowery?
It looked like flowery.
It's probably paspalum, which is this very low maintenance. Don't have to cut it as much. And was it like thatchy? Paspalum grass it's very resilient. The word I'm looking for. It's very resilient grass to salt. So was it near the ocean? Lots of salt.
Yeah, it was kind of in the mountains, in the middle. It wasn't on the coast.
So paspalum's a very harsh green that can basically survive anything. It's bulletproof. But it's not the best putting surface. But it usually lays down like a carpet.
Yeah.
But it can get a little rough.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah, it doesn't, and not a lot of divots.
And even in the rough, like the ball would really sit up.
So
but it was like firm.
Yeah, Kaikuyu and paspalum, it sounded like.
Yeah, and the greens were really spongy, so there'd be a real big first bounce, and then it just kind of stopped.
And not a big divot?
No.
No, so it's probably paspalum.
So it sounds like,
It just means you don't have to cut it as much. You don't have to look after it. You can't roll it. And so it's kind of, and pretty slow. I would have thought like 7 on a stem.
Rather slow, yeah. It kind of felt like when you have the setup of the mat underneath the artificial turf over there for like a softer, it felt squishy when you're walking on it.
But then, so the overall experience, like 8, 9?
It was great.
Yeah, awesome. Ticket.
Yeah, so I had a blast. It's always fun playing in new countries just to see what the clubhouse is like, what the course is like. So.
And how many people were there? Like 50 people playing when you're out there?
So I pulled up. There was a group of 4 guys, looked like 4 buddies, went out and played. They actually got out before me, but they let me play through, which was great. And then there are a couple of British guys behind me that were just out on holiday. So it was relaxed.
Shout out Royal Mallorca.
It was called Golf Son Termes.
Love it. Love it.
And it was awesome. Yeah. So look it up if you're in the area.
One of
and
the
you want to play
Skase
around.
family from Australia were ever playing golf there. Yeah. So news from the fairways. What do we have? We've got a big week. So this is coming to you US Open week at Pinehurst.
A couple days. US Open starts up.
Who would you love to see have a win at the US Open?
I would love to see Cameron Young. The guy's been there. He's got a long list of tied seconds or second place finishes, and I'd love to see him pull through. I'm going to back your boy Mingwoo Lee. I'd love to see Minwoo Lee have a breakthrough. I just think he's such a remarkable young man who just has got a bit of swag. I just want to see someone who's got swagger. Yeah. Give me some swagger. Yeah. So who do we have? We had a big week in golf. Obviously, this is coming to you with the US Open starting. And Liv, we had Mr. Ortiz win. He kind of crushed it. What did he have? 16 under. He had 15 under, 1 by 1. And then we had the LPGA. What a week in the LPGA. Linnea Strom from Sweden. She went low.
She goes out there and just rocks out a little 11 under,
On
60.
Sunday, yeah.
And from nowhere, she was coming, so obviously top, actually I don't know how many people pegged it up, but generally a golf tournament is top 120 people peg it up, top 60 make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
She was coming last after hole 2 of the Saturday. So Thursday, Friday, it's cut in half or thereabouts, top 60. She's coming last, smashes out a little 11 under
It's
and
insane.
wins.
Yeah, and wins by 1.
Wins by 1.
Which is unbelievable. I think her first win.
First
on
win.
LPGA.
She's basically, I mean, phenomenal player, obviously. Hasn't done much. Like I was Googling her. She played 2 events, missed the cut in the first one, and then goes out and goes, I'm just going to lay down a 60.
Screw it. Let's just go crazy.
So what do you think? So she's on Sunday. She's coming last. She's probably like, fuck this. I just want to get out of here. And then all of a sudden holes 1, then holes another. Goes from, I just want to make my money, move on to the next week, and then wins, and her whole life changes.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
Golf's a fascinating game.
I'm curious where she'll go from here in the coming weeks with if that just sparks some confidence.
So she's 27,
Yeah, 27.
First victory. Annika's the only other golfer. She's had 59, which was a 13 under, which is insane.
Yeah.
But I just think, having been there, you're coming last of the cut made, and you're probably thinking, another week, and then she went like, what was the switch? So hopefully, her and her team have gone, what the hell did you do? Was it that you just started to relax and just let it go?
Maybe.
So congratulations, Miss Strom. I think that is such an awesome story.
Yeah. Really
11
cool.
under, that is. Best I've had is a couple of 8s, but 11, that's just insane.
Yeah, double digits under par.
Double digits under par. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then PGA Tour, Scotty Scheffler.
Back on the winning train.
At the Memorial. Usually a pretty big event, Jack Nicklaus Memorial.
Yeah. Course plays really hard always.
And you said this, and I totally agree with you. It was lovely that I think it was only 6 or 7 guys finished under par.
Yeah.
And it was lovely to see a really firm, hard, fast golf course.
I think on the last day there were only 2 people were in the reds.
Yeah, which
under
is just
par.
awesome.
Colin Morikawa and somebody else.
And they could have, we were watching. So I was watching on the Monday, so I'm usually working Sunday, and so we were watching it yesterday, Monday, and they both had a chance to win.
Yeah, they both. Yeah. I mean, a few putts dropped different ways for either of them, and it could have easily been a Colin Morikawa win. But yeah, it kind of came down to the wire. Scotty had a really clutch birdie on 16, and that kind of held him through it.
Yeah, which was awesome. So, which leads us to as Scotty Scheffler just continues strength to strength to strength. And someone said to me yesterday, "Oh, did you see the new body cam video?" I'm like, the whole PGA video, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. Let's not dig up drama. What happened happened. Let's move on. He's a good dude, and he's just so impressive.
Yeah.
But as social media jumps on the bandwagon, I'm finding in my social feed all these exercises of Scotty Scheffler does this person does that. And so what we thought we'd do is, SJ, you kindly gave us a nice warm-up exercise, but then we wanted to bring it back to one specific exercise so we do group training in here every other morning. And I got to be honest, dude, my butt is so sore today. My glute medius, so I had a typical tubercle transfer. So basically they snapped both my lower legs below the knee and they removed them, rotated them and put them back together when I was 21 and 24. And my glute and my left side was the first leg done. It was called a typical tubercle transfer with a lateral release. Basically my kneecaps tracked on the outside of my legs, and that's why they kept dislocating. And they did my left one first, and that exercise yesterday just highlighted 32 years on how weak my left butt is.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, just exercise soreness.
My glute medius, as I sit here right now, is literally still on fire.
Yeah, which is great. And as you keep going, it will get stronger, you'll get less sore, and then...
So why don't we talk about why it's sore, if you can?
Yeah.
And then we wanted to throw at you a really fantastic exercise that you said to me you can do end of days. You can do every day, all day.
Yeah, it's kind of an exercise you can't do too much of. I think especially the way our lives are designed these days, people stop shifting side to side. We kind of just live front to back.
Okay.
Look at a computer screen, you walk where you're going. But for people who like their golf, there's a lot of lateral motion mixed in
Okay.
that allows for rotation, which is once you start getting stiff and tight, rotation's what goes out the window. And we need a lot of that. So it's really important that your hip can allow you to post up on it and then you can rotate around it.
So why am I sore? What's
So
happening
you're
there?
just sore from the mechanical stress of that muscle having to work. So the exercise I had, I think the one you felt the most yesterday, you going through that we're going to go over today, you're holding tension and using that muscle for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
It's almost like an endurance exercise. That's why by the end it's burning. You'll feel it
So we
sparking
had,
at
what
you.
do we have? We had about 7 stations, and we have 2 groups training now. So we're at 6:30 in the morning, 6:30 to 7:30, then 7:30 to 8:30.
Mhm.
And for that session yesterday, and if I'm sore and I'm in pretty good nick, some of our guys who aren't as golf fit, they will be waking up this
Yeah, they're
morning.
gonna feel it.
They're going to be feeling it.
Yeah, which is great though. It really gets your brain
Yeah.
sensing that muscle that we want to start using more. And then moving forward, you can find it and use it more easily.
Yeah, we're just finding that social media goes rife, and even our friends and their kids are doing all these golf-specific exercises. And to be honest, most of them are smoke and mirrors in that you don't need all this fancy equipment. You don't need to go out and buy this thing that Scotty's plugging for $400 because it's a base movement that doesn't need any assistance.
Yeah, no, you've got gravity in your own body weight's plenty in most cases. But I find, and as I've gone through this now with so many people in here, the setup is everything. So
Yeah.
you miss one little piece of the setup for whether it's your hip being in the right place, your rib cage in the right place, and you start training something else that you don't want to be training. For you, which
Yeah.
yesterday was if we started missing part of the setup, or as you got tired, you fell out of the right form,
Tired, yeah.
lower back kicks on and it starts working.
So that's what we said. So I said to Sean yesterday after, so we go an hour, and I'm pretty fit, but after an hour, my glute medius was just on fire. And I said to SJ, normally my lower back would kick in here and say, hey, obviously in hindsight, I now get this. Before I met you, I didn't. Because my go-to is my lower back, now I'm using my glutes. I had the same brain sensory of, this is not a good place. You're going to injure yourself. But it wasn't. It was, hey, you're using your glutes, which I've never done before.
Yeah.
So my lower back, which wants to kick in, now could say, well, actually, I don't need to.
Yeah.
And that's a learned skill, right?
Yeah. And it takes, for one, learning how to change from using your glute versus your lower back. And then the second part is just repetitions, where you condition your brain to now use a different strategy. So let's use the glute instead of the lower back. And that's a really easy way to get rid of lower back pain.
I mean, I'm rowing a lot. I row every other day to keep up with our numero uno. And I'm rowing a hell of a lot. But yesterday, my glutes were on in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And they're still sore.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yep. So on Wednesday, we do it again.
Yeah,
and
rock and roll.
Should
Should we go show? So maybe we can get you to explain why this exercise is very intricate. You got to be able to set up correctly. And then why we do it for golf.
Yeah.
And do you think they can do this on their own?
Definitely. So the only thing that
set
you
up,
have to do to get it right and get the benefit of the exercise is set up properly.
Okay, set up. So maybe we dunk down the hole.
And the tricky thing is what feels like the proper setup oftentimes isn't quite right. So when we have group training here and I'm there and I'm just really picky with form, I can tell when someone's just got it right or they're missing something, and we can adjust there. But if you do this on your own, you've just got to follow the list of setup cues.
And a lot of this is rib cage down, thoracic spine feels. We feel in rounded posture, but it's all about allowing the body to move.
Yeah. And like we always say, the muscles respond to joint position. So
I love that.
Put the joints in the right position, then you can flick on the right muscle and it can do its job.
Shall we? Let's go and do this.
Let's go through it.
So let's explain what these little, like right now, my glute meds are both still on fire.
You still feel them.
Oh yeah, they're burning. So what is that? Why? What do the glutes do?
So they're kind of your lateral stabilizers, and they also generate internal rotation. So when in kind of context for golf, they allow you to transfer your weight side to side, and then also to kind of post up once you've transferred the weight and rotate around that side.
So if the glute doesn't stabilize, what happens?
Well, you're going to find a compensation. So
lower back,
sometimes you'll slide the hips too far. It doesn't keep things in check, or you start to stand up out of it. A whole lot of funky things.
Yeah, so this is why we when all these people get on social media and say early extension, you're coming out of posture, this is really simple stuff.
Yeah.
We believe you can't fix golf technique. before you understand the physiology of why you're coming out of posture. So you'd say this is a great exercise.
So this is a great one. And the thing I like about it is it's going to pair internal rotation in one hip with same side thoracic rotation, which that's your back swing.
Can I get you to say that again?
Yeah. So it's going to pair internal rotation in whichever hip you're standing on with same side thoracic rotation, which is, as a righty golfer, that would be right hip internally rotating, right thoracic rotation.
On the backswing there.
That's a backswing.
Yeah.
Now going the other way, you're going to do the left hip internal rotation, left thoracic rotation, that's your downswing.
Awesome.
So we're starting to pair muscle groups in your whole body into working in ways that are conducive to a good golf swing. But if you train just one thing, like just your glute med, good. But we want to pair that working with your opposite obliques and then your same side right shoulder blade so that the muscle groups are working together to create an overall motion rather than just separating it one thing at a time.
Yeah, love this. It's probably where we differ the most in that we do try and, or Sean's created a platform where you do pair that opposite side, which is so important.
Yeah, like your body works in slings of muscles that wrap around your entire body. So if you're only training half of that sling, when you go to try and work it in your golf swing, only half of it's going to do its job.
Yeah. All right.
So we want things to work together. So we're going to set up. I'm just going to show you the exercise first, and then I'm going to put Scotty through it and just show you how we make sure the form is correct so that he uses the right muscles.
So my awareness, because I don't have your knowledge, my awareness isn't as unique as yours. So I found this very difficult yesterday.
Yeah.
But once you put me in the cues, I was like, oh, right.
Yep. And once you feel it, it's very different from how it would feel otherwise, but the setup is really subtle, actually.
And we had like 7, 8, we have 7 or 8 in each class.
Yep.
Everyone felt it differently. So what a cue for me was I had to feel like my butt was way outside my heels. Sean or person A might feel that in their shoulders. So we find that when you listen to someone, and this is the important part, when you listen to someone online, that's how they perceive a movement. And so what we're always constantly striving for in here is, here's the setup to actually do an exercise. How you feel that is very different. So if Scotty's saying this is a great exercise and I do X, Y, and Z, you might feel it in a different part of your body, which relates to stability and mobility.
So goal as we go through the setup is you find a way that allows you to feel the right muscle working. That's your cue that you've done it right, is do you feel your glute med working? So for this exercise, it's a big separation drill, so great for golf, but you're going to start about a yard off of a wall. So you just need something sturdy behind you. We're going to use this big wall here. I'm going to pick a side, which I'll choose my right side to start. And I'm just going to get all my weight on there and then get my other foot back on the wall. My foot's about knee height on this left side and all my weight's on this right side. So I'm not pushing into the wall too hard or anything like that. Now, to get your glute med working here, it's really important we get your pelvis, your hips here centered over your front leg. So for most people...
So you feel like you've shifted to start.
Yeah. So I'm going to have you think of your hips here from left to right are going to shift over towards that right side. So if I kind of look at the zipper on my pants here, it's directly over the laces on my foot. So I'm not sitting over here. This is where you're going to feel your lower back. I can feel mine kick on right away. I get my hips centered over it. Now my glute med feels some tension. Now from there, if you got that, you're going to keep that alignment and just start bending forward to about 45 degrees. So like you're hitting a golf ball here. If I took my other foot down, boom, I'm ready to hit a ball.
Love that.
So going to be right there. Now, once you've got that, this is just going to stay. So the reason this exercise burns so much is because I'm going to hold tension in this glute med now for probably about a minute as I go through the exercise. Now, you don't have to have a weight to start, but what I'd recommend is you start here with your arms just relaxed. We're going to now start to rotate the thoracic spine. So if I keep this in place here and I go to open up to the right here, I should feel a big tension in my right shoulder blade and my left obliques. However, if we don't preset a little bit of engagement there, you're not going to feel it.
So again, let's explain that. Yeah. So you feel like...
So what we want is the front of your rib cage will take your lower ribs. You want to feel those drop down and back, which is a little bit tricky if you're not used to doing this. The easiest way I find is if you take a big deep breath. So I got my hands here. If I take a really nice full breath in and a full exhale, blow out all the air you have.
So it almost feels like you're rounded.
Yeah, you're going to feel your ribs drop downwards, and then they're going to go back. And as that happens, your mid-back there should start to round a little bit, almost like if I reach forward here, I feel a little bit hunchback-like.
So isn't
you'll
it
see
funny?
With Scotty, he's got this rounding now when he does that.
So parents say keep your shoulders back, but it's actually not good posture, which is what we talk about a lot here.
Well, shoulders back isn't a bad thing as long as you don't go ribs up.
Yeah.
If you can keep those down and
is really
shoulders
important.
back, then we're okay. But once the ribs flare up, you've got no leverage in your core. And so guess what kicks in?
Lower back.
Lower back, as always. So
okay,
what we're going to do, and we'll set Scotty up here to do this.
I find this
He's
very
about
difficult.
a yard off the wall. Which side do you want to pick on today?
I mean, they're both burning. So
you're probably a little far off the wall.
Okay.
So there we go. Go ahead and bring that left foot back.
Oh, yeah, that's so much
and now he's going to shift both his hips over towards the right.
So right now I don't feel any glute med, whereas when I slide, I feel like my whole body's going this way. Holy moly.
Lights you right up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now you're going to bend forward just a little bit more from the hip so you feel more tension
So
build
my
up.
glute med is going on
Really good.
fire
Okay,
right now.
so now just let your arms hang in front of you. And now we got to get that rib cage crunching up a little bit. So go ahead and breathe out. And I want you to get these ribs crunching up. His back in the middle here, just rounded. You should feel a little core tension there.
So you said to me yesterday, feel like my thoracic spine is the furthest thing away from the ground.
Yes, exactly.
So I feel like I'm a humpback whale right now.
And you've got a nice rounding in your mid-back.
Love
That's
that.
good. And then the left's going to stay now. He's just going to rotate his right arm straight up towards the ceiling.
Do you mind if the arm bends? Doesn't matter?
I'd like you to keep it straight just so you can feel back here. So now
that's on fire.
we've got tension right glute, left obliques, right shoulder blade in here. So this whole sling wrapping around his body that creates rotation. Nope, just go for a second, bring it back down. And then he's going to repeat just with the thoracic rotation. So hip is stabilizing the whole time. And now he's going to try and get a little further on that turn each repetition. And you're looking for about 10 reps.
And as I rotate my thoracic spine, I feel like this right hip wants to go that way, and I've got to keep it this way.
So you want to just keep it right where it started, yeah.
So I feel like I'm actually rotating my hips to the left as I rotate to the right.
And actually, it's okay if you rotate a little bit more right. That's just more internal rotation. All good.
That's on fire. And
so
nice
he
and
should
slow.
be feeling this by now. That glute's going to be working hard. Now, can you sense a little bit of core on the left?
Oh, yeah, totally.
A little right shoulder blade?
Right shoulder blade, left core, right glute medius is going absolutely nuts.
Perfect.
Woo!
Nice big burn.
So that could be a daily exercise?
It'd be a great one to either do before you hit balls. In the gym, you can do it as like a workout type of exercise where you're building up some strength, but you're starting to pair these muscle groups working together. So
I think that's really important. You're starting to pair both sides of the chain to get you to separate and rip it. I mean, right now, this is still going nuts.
Yeah. So we want that kind of movement pattern to start becoming ingrained subconsciously. So when you're actually hitting balls, you're not thinking about, okay, my right glute, my left core, my right shoulder blade. Yeah. Your body knows what to do. You can think about whatever you're thinking about in the drill you're doing, the ball shape you want to hit. Let the technical stuff stay separate from, the stuff you do in the gym.
So guys, just remember, before you jump on the bandwagon when that PGA Tour guy says this is a great exercise, just make sure it's right and done correctly. Man, that was awesome.
Yeah, so, feel free. Give this a try at home. Let us know if you can feel right glute med over here. If you can get your obliques, that right shoulder blade. This is the kind of exercise, and like we say with drills, you can keep doing this for a long period of time. Like some of the drills that you want to do when you're training for golf, like keep the same drill. Don't flop around too much. You want to do this until it's so easy. You've got to start adding weight, or we add a different challenge, and we can always make it more difficult. But rip it out. Give it a chance to really change how your body's moving. Let your brain learn as it keeps doing it over a course of weeks, and you'll start to really feel it.
Guys, I'm a guy who can hit balls for 5 or 6 hours without feeling a thing. This lights me up like a Christmas tree. So I'm very golf fit, but this exercise still absolutely burns. So it's really important to do the right exercises.
Yep. Stick with it. Rep it out. Let us know how it goes. And as always, thank you for listening and supporting us. Share it with anybody that needs a little bit of help getting stronger for golf.
Glutes.
Yeah. And we'll check back in after the US Open.
All right. Thanks for listening. Remember, your on-course experience starts with the work you put into your entire game. Thanks, Buggerlugs. Let's get moving next week. US Open. Good luck. Mingwoo Lee.
Yeah. And maybe Cam Young pulls one out. That's what I'm pulling for. So.
Love it. All right. See you next week.
See you next week.